some late night champion mindset coaching for you. Thought tonight we would talk about a topic which is called stick and go. If you've ever played sports of any kind, let's think of basketball probably, there's a concept, it's called stick and go. So basically what it is like picture yourself like running, you plant a foot and you kind of like plant it, right? It kind of stops and then you go. So it's stick and go. Or if you're like posting up, and you go. So it's more or less like breaking the laws of inertia and then taking off with pretty explosive movement in an opposite direction or forward direction. That's what it's all about. But in order for you to have that much agility and that much explosivity, what you have to have is you have to have core fundamentals that are strong and intact in order for you to have that sort of dynamic movement. And the same thing applies when you are setting out to do something new. Okay, I think a lot of people get really frustrated that when you're starting something, or if you have done something in the past and it's been a while since you have done it and you're kind of rusty and you're starting these things back up again, it can be really frustrating when you are not getting results as quickly as you want them to, or you're trucking along and you find that you're hitting this plateau all the time. A lot of the work that I do as a muscular development coach, and then everything else that I do in my coaching business, which is personal and professional development, for me, I can't separate them because I love both of them, but honest to God, like there's so much parallel between what happens in athletic performance and in a gym and what happens in life, the reasons for why you hit the ceilings or why you plateau. And one of those things has to do with your mindset on how you commit to something and then take action. Like what's your lag time? So with stick and go, like it's you do this and you move and it's fast, right? So it's all about committing and then taking massive action. So the goal with any sort of success or plateau busting is to really triage yourself and checkpoint yourself. Am I spending a lot of time in lag? Am I, having to get more information, or am I just pondering about this, or am I getting this idea and now I have to tell everybody about it before I actually take action? So the goal with everything within my academy and my coaching is, yeah, sure, I can inspire you and I can, motivate you to an extent, but at the end of the day, it comes down to your own taking action, narrowing that time between idea inception and execution. And that's a mindset thing. That's an identity thing. That's who you are. This is the opportunity. Bam, I'm already taking action. This isn't like, let's think about this and maybe one day we can kind of sorta. When you look at how successful people commit and move throughout their lives, successful people will always commit to a goal first before they ever even know how to do it. And they follow through, all right? So it's not a half-assed commitment. It's definitely full-assed. Whereas everybody else always has to have something created or have something in their possession before they're willing to commit. Those are the people who sit on the fence and are just like, well, yeah, maybe one day when I have the time. Like, nobody has time today. Nobody has time. Everybody has to learn how to create time in their own day. And motivation is a responsibility that you have to get your butt up and do the stuff. Otherwise, you can just sit there and let the time go by, and time is going by fast. This is August the 1st. And we know every time this year, I always say the same message, like, this is the month. This is the month. It's like a make or break month. This is a month when most people are worried about the summer is coming to an end, they're wrapping up vacations, they're getting ready, school is starting, and their mindset is shifting, and they're not paying attention and remaining focused on their goals. They're letting a lot of lag time. Oh, well, maybe, a Christmas break, we can kind of sort of do this. Well, once you hit August flies by in a zip. Then it's September, then it's Halloween, then it's Thanksgiving, then it's Christmas, then bam, we're at the beginning of the new year, and you're like, holy crap, like where did this time go? So it comes down to how you use your time, how you make time in your day, but ultimately how you go about yourself being in the driver's seat, committing to a goal and taking action on it. Even if you're only working on it a small amount of time every day, right? This is like the law of cumulative effect, that even if you work 5 minutes a day, well, if you do that times 30 days, how many minutes is that? If you multiply that times 5 months, which is what we have the rest of this year, how many minutes, how many hours is that? That's how much farther you will actually be than if you just kind of sit there and you don't do anything. So the rule with, successful action is, number one, motivation is a responsibility. Okay, it's not something that like falls upon you or rains upon you and all of a sudden you just feel so motivated to do it. Motivation, if you view it as a feeling, it's fleeting, just like happiness is fleeting. Okay, it's a decision on whether you choose joy, whether you choose to be motivated, whether you choose to have that in your life. It's a choice, but it's a responsibility. Number two, it's your level of personal integrity when it comes to how you commit to the stuff. Okay, so it's you commit and you actually follow through. You do it, you put yourself on the timeline, you honor the timeline, and you do it in the spirit with which you actually first committed. That's the next key to it. All right, then after that, it's work. It's patience with the process. It's what are you willing to sacrifice in the short term for the long-term gain. Okay, and this doesn't matter. Is this health and fitness? Is this how you're a steward of your finances? This is what you're doing with the next 5 years of your life. This is how you're pulling yourself up out of a terrible divorce. This is whatever. You're moving to a new place. This is your career shifts. This is you're resurrecting a hobby that you haven't worked on for 20 years. Like, it's always the same. It's all the process. And you have to honor the time period of the process as well. You have to have patience with that process because it's going to take time for things to actually mature. So you cannot expect to operate at a very dynamic level, whether this is athletic performance or anything else, if you are unstable. Okay, now if you want, here's the cool thing, and this is really, my brain has been hurting for so long because I've been writing blog posts on my fitness website, which is Figure Chick 911, and it's straight up like there's stuff on the blog, different nutritional things, but there's a series on plateau busting. And I wrote it with a very high degree of intentionality that any person who has any goal in their life where you feel like you're spinning your wheels and you're spinning your wheels and you're not making any progress and you can't figure out like why you're not able to bust through, this plateau. If you have a goal, go back and read that series. Like it's a 4 or 5 part series, I forget, but it talks about like the top causes of plateaus, and it lists out like nutrition is number one. So nutrition is really the actual food and beverage that you consume, but it's what you nourish your body. That if you're having problems on the relational front, what kind of food are you feeding yourself? Like, what are you exposing yourself to? Are you surrounding yourself with people and information that is going to enhance your relationships, or are you hanging around a bunch of soul-sucking, negative, Jerry Springer sort of bullshit, and that's what's getting your time and attention? It's the concept of garbage in, garbage out. Whatever you're feeding yourself, that's what you're going to be putting out. So if you're at that point, like you have this issue, like you whatever you do, you just can't seem to break through this thing, go back and read the plateau busting series. There's stability precludes dynamism. I mean, there's like some really strong stuff in there, and just substitute out your goal for whatever I've listed as the fitness thing. Okay, so you're going to see some more of this kind of like develop here. We were we're recording podcasts all day today. So it was super, super fun. But, it just occurred to me that at the end of the day, which is now, it comes down to your getting up and actually doing the work, right? So stick and go, commit and create. All right? Little takeaway for you. Have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.